Right. So last class we have started with what creating what user-defined functions. We have seen one example on what scalar user-defined function. Another one is what table user-defined function. Okay. So the difference we already seen. We'll see few more examples going forward. Now, in the last class, we are trying to develop one what a block where we need to what get the data from a table, okay, and then update some column in the table. Okay, so similar to that requirement, let me quickly show you one example. So the main agenda is what we have to retrieve the data from a table, okay, and we need to loop that particular data. We need to loop that particular data and then update one of the what column in the database table. That is a requirement. Then based on that, I'll go for what arrays concept. So initially, let me just open the SQL console and let me create one table first. So based on the table, I'll do the changes. In case if the meeting gets disconnected, I'll send the new ID. There is a what power disconnection from my end. Okay, in case if it gets disconnected, I'll send a new ID. Right, so I'm setting the skipper. Now let me quickly create a table. I'll create one table here. EMP ID. Let me give it as int primary key employee name something varchar of 20, and let us give another column department number int, and then let us create one more column like salary. Let me declare it as decimal of something 12 comma 2, and then I'll declare another column like commission decimal of something 6 comma 2. This is a table. Right, the table got successfully created. Then based on this table, let me insert the data. Right, so the table name is e underscore department. I'll generate the insert statement for that. Insert into JetSoft SQL. I don't want to maintain the data for all the columns, so I'll just give the column names here: EMP ID, ename, department number, and salary. 4 columns I'm giving. Values, I'll give some values. Okay, employee ID, employee name, department number, and let me give the salary also. Right, so this is the data in the table. Yeah, it got inserted. So if I open the content of the table, right, so I'm having this table. I don't have any data for the commission column. So earlier we have manipulated the same kind of thing, but I used cursors there. Okay, we are executing the select statement. That select statement will be executed whenever the cursor is opened, and the entire data of the table, the entire data of the select statement will come and sit in the cursor, and we are what processing that cursor record by record. Okay, by using the fetch statement. So now the change I want to do is I want to fetch this data into what an what internal table kind of thing, just like in our ABAP, and we need to loop that particular internal table and update some column. What is that column I want to update? Some commission column I want to update. Okay, so let me quickly create the procedure. Create procedure. I'll give the procedure name as something update commission. Okay, I'm not giving any parameters. Okay, and here I'll say default schema job, because what are the tables I refer in my, what are the database objects I refer inside the procedure body, it should be picked from what the specified default schema, which is gens of SQL as begin. So here, what is my requirement is I want to update commission for what all the records. I want to update commission for all the records based on some condition, like based on what department number. Okay. So what I'll do is as begin. So I'll take one iteration variable, declare lv underscore count. Okay, let me put it as lv underscore count int. Let me give the default value as 0. Then I'll declare another variable lv underscore loop count, again integer is equal to what 0. Then what is my requirement? Based on what based on department number I have to update the what commission. I have to update the commission depending on the salary also. So here let me declare some four local variables. I'll take employee ID in my table is what integer. Then declare, I'll go for department number as what integer. Then I declared salary as what decimal, and commission as what decimal. Okay, so declare lv underscore salary, let me give it as something decimal of 12 comma 2. Then I'll declare another variable lv underscore commission decimal of something 6 comma 2. Done. So now these are my declarations. Okay, so here first of all I have to get the data into what a local internal table kind of thing. So if you take our ABAP environment, we'll declare the to declare the internal table, we'll create some types declaration. Based on the type declaration we'll declare the internal table, but here I need not priorly declare that particular internal table kind of thing. Directly I can specify the variable. Whenever the select statement is executed, it will create that particular temporary internal table. The lifetime of that is only within the block. So I'll say itab. Okay, directly I'm saying itab. I'm not declaring that earlier. So itab, I'll just write the select statement. Let me get the employee ID. I'll get the employee name is also there, but I'll not go for employee name. I'll just take department number. Okay, and then I'll take the salary, as well as let me take the commission. Let me commission from the table from e underscore what department. So I'll get the entire data. Anyway, we are having some 8 records. I'm not giving any where class. I'll get the entire data into my what internal table, which is created dynamically. Okay, you need not declare it priorly. Then what is the requirement? I need to update the commission for all the records based on the department number. Okay, so I need to loop from first record to what last record. So what I'll do is let me get the count of that. So I'll say select count of star. Okay, select count of star into what is the local variable I declared lv underscore count. Okay, Okay, so already the data will come and sit in my what dynamically created internal table, which is nothing but what itab. So lv underscore count from data of what itab, from data of what sorry, from colon of what, colon indicates what your data, from the data of itab I'm getting the count value. That count will come and sit in what lv underscore count. Now I'll say if lv underscore count is not equal to 0. Okay, this is a symbol for not equal to. If it is not equal to 0, okay, if it is not equal to 0, then only I want to iterate from first record to what, last record. Okay, if it is not equal to 0, fine, then I'll say loop. Okay, loop and loop, and end for loop is what, end loop. Done. I need to give space here. Done. And let me give end if also here. Done. Okay, so if lv underscore count is not equal to 0, I am looping that. Okay, so there should be some exit condition when it has to come out of the loop. I'll say okay, initially what is the value of loop count, 0. Done. So I'll say if the value of lv underscore count is less than or equal to, if lv underscore count is less than or equal to what, lv underscore loop count, then I'll give some exit condition like what, break. I'll explain this very simple. And if done. Okay, so this is one exit condition, we'll talk about that later on. Now what I have to do is, okay, so I have to process from the first record to what, last record. So the data is available where now, in the internal table. So at a time I have to use what, single record. So in our ABAP environment we can say loop at itab into work area, but this is not the internal table declared in the ABAP environment. So here I'll say okay, I declared already some 4 local variables. So I'll say select emp id. Okay, I'm not getting the data from the database now, I'm getting it from the internal table. Select emp id, department number, and what else, salary as well as what, commission. Okay, from where, from the dynamically created internal table from itab. Okay, here I have to say into class, into how many fields I'm retrieving, 4 fields. So let us get into what, 4 local variables, lv underscore empid, and what else, lv underscore empid, lv underscore department number, and lv underscore salary, and then lv underscore what, commission from itab. Okay, so the entire, when I execute this select statement, we are getting the data from the database table in the internal table. My database table is having what, 8 records. 8 record will come and sit in what, itab. I have to process it record by record. So if you say loop at internal into work area, that syntax is supported in what, our ABAP environment. So here I have to process each record. So I'm getting each record from an internal table into my local variable, and I have to instruct that at a time read only what, single record. So I'll say limit one, try to understand, limit one, and I'll say offset what is the variable I declared, lv underscore loop count, lv underscore loop count. Yeah, lv underscore loop count. Done. Initially the value of loop count is what, 0. Okay, you will get it now. So each record will come into local variables, so and so. Now I have to update my commission based on some department number. So I'll say if lv underscore department number is equal to what, 10, then if lv underscore equal to 10, then I'll say lv underscore commission is equal to the current salary, some 10%. So I'll say lv underscore salary into what 10 by what 100. Done. Okay, some calculation. Then else if the department number is 20, then I'll say LV underscore commission equal to current salary into 20 by 100. If you want, you can use this brackets. Else, if it is other than what 20 and 30, I'll say else LV underscore commission is equal to some other calculation. I'll say into 30 by what 100. Done. And end for this if is what end if done. Okay, then I have to update my database table. So here I'll say update what e underscore department set commission is equal to the calculated commission lv underscore commission where where emp id is equal to the local variable emp id lv underscore emp id. Done. And each time let me increment this loop variable lv underscore loop count is equal to lv underscore loop count plus one and that's it. End loop and end if for procedure is what end. Done. Let me cross check. So I'm not passing any parameters. I'm getting the entire data into the internal table. Then I'm counting the number of records in the internal table, dynamically created a temporary internal table. That count value will get in what lv underscore count. If lv underscore count is not equal to 0, then only enter the loop. Okay. Now in the loop I am giving some exit condition. Initially assume that we have the lv count value is 8. 8 less than or equal to 0, no condition is false, so this condition is failed. Then I have to process each record of this particular internal table. So I am using select statement. Okay, select statement on the internal table, not on the database table. Okay, and I have to get this record, I have to get these four fields into local variables. Okay, so here what this will do, limit to one means at a time pull only one record. At a time pull only one record. Offset what lv underscore loop count. What is the value of lv underscore loop count? Initially 0. So if it is 0, done. Okay. Offset 0 means the index starts from 0, the internal table index starts from 0. It will pull that record. Done. Then the data will compensate in my local variable. So here I am saying department equal 10. I am calculating some commission. Then you have to update it back to what my database table. So update the table, set commission equal to so and so. I'm using the where condition, where employee id equal to what lv underscore employee id. Yes. Okay. Then each time I'm incrementing this by what 1. So this will be iterated for what 8 times. This should be iterated for 8 times. So at certain stage loop count value will be 8. Okay. Yeah, loop count value will be 8. So whenever it is equal to 8, I am saying break will come out of the current loop. What is the current loop here? This loop and end loop. So let's see. Let me try to create the procedure. F8, I got an error where line 18 column 24. Where was line 18 column 24? One second. What is the issue here? Line 18, column 24. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Problem is here.
Sridhar, is it LV loop count less than equal to LV count?
No, no. This is LV and this one you're saying?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it should be vice.
no, initially the value would be 8, na? LV count value is 8. If it is
Uh-huh.
8 is less than 0, then only you say break. So initially it will not be satisfied. No issues here. Probably I gave the space here. That might be the problem. Yeah, line 18, column 24. This is a problem, I think so. Yeah, that's all. So this is a problem. Let me try to remove that one. Let me re-execute. Effect, yes, it is successfully what created. The problem is I gave what some additional space. So the procedure got what created. Now let me quickly call the procedure. What is the procedure name? Update commission. So I'll just say call update commission. Okay, before I execute this, if you go to the table, if I refresh, I don't have data for what commission. So let me call the procedure. F8 rows affected is what 8. If you go back, if I say refresh, yeah, this department number 10 is 10%, 20 is 20%, 30 is 30%. Done, done, done. Yeah, done. Okay, so it successfully got what updated. So the main thing here is I'm using what loop and what end loop. We don't have any syntax like loop at what so and so. Okay, so this is supported in our ABAP environment. Here it is not there. Okay, Praveen, are you asking the same kind of thing earlier last class?
Yeah, Sridhar. I think yeah. So is that before it is updating database, it is also updating the internal table, right? Yes, Sridhar.
No, 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 no. It's not updating the internal table. I'm putting that calculation in the what local variable.
Correct. So is there any way that we update the internal table also before we update the database table here? Like, can we see at runtime the updated value in the internal table structure?
No, here according to this logic, we are not updating the internal table. No? We are not
Yeah.
updating the internal table. We are just putting the calculation in the local variable. So now what you have to do is, I don't think here in our ABAP environment we have this concept. What is this? Suppose 1 second. In our ABAP environment, I can say modify a database table from table internal table. Okay, so what we'll do there is we'll store the entire updated data in the internal table, and at a time we'll update the database table by using this syntax: modify database table from table itab. But this syntax is not supported in the ANA data. This is still supported in the ABAP, in the application layer, but not in the database layer. So am I clear? That's the reason I'm updating the individual records in the database table.
Yeah. This is also, I think, the end of, end result should be like updating the database, right?
Database
This is
table,
also,
yeah,
yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm just asking whether we can retain those values at runtime in
No,
the internal
no,
table.
no, 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 no.
Okay.
Venkat,
I think we can
yeah.
use
Sridhar,
cursors, right, Sridhar?
can we
Oh, sorry.
update the internal table?
Can
Sorry,
we? Hmm.
Sridhar, can we update the internal table values? So later processing, maybe we need to get the multiple internal tables, and we need to use one of the internal table values in another one, some of the logic.
Yeah. So at that time, what you have to do is we need to loop the internal table into work area. Into work area. Work area in the sense here we have to go for arrays. Okay. So first do the changes in the array and update that back to what internal table. Then we can use that updated internal table at later point of time in our logic. It's possible, Pullaro. anyhow, I'll come to that example now when I go for arrays.
Yeah. So
Okay.
calling a procedure in another procedure. So
But again, this is not supported. Even if you keep the updated data in the internal table, we don't have any direct statement to update the database table from the internal table. What you can do is this updated internal table, I can pass it to another procedure. That is possible, but I cannot do this one. Okay.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
But we can update the internal. I'll come to that example.
Okay.
Yeah. What is the other doubt? Venkat, can you please show update syntax for more than one field? Yeah, it's very simple. Venkat, the syntax is update database table. Set field one is equal to what? Some data. What are the data you want to do? Then space field two equal to some modified data like this. N number of fields. Just separate with space. Like this, and make sure that you give a where condition so that appropriate record will be updated like this. Okay, separate the
Hello, sir.
yeah, tell me Devashish, bolo.
Hello, sir. How to move from the one internal table to another internal table? If the internal table having different structure, so how to move that?
How to mean the sense, just like in our ABAP we have to loop that
Yes, sir.
we have to loop that
Yes, sir.
record into work area. Okay,
Uh-huh.
and assign that work area. Okay, assign that work area to what? Another work area fields, which is same as what target internal table structure. Then oh, you are saying you want to copy the data from one internal
Yes,
table
yes.
to another internal
Table.
table. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Hmm. Okay. So there in our ABAP environment, again we have the concept of append WA into what? This one. Yeah. Here also we have a similar kind of function called as unnest. I'll come to that, Devashish. Okay, give me some time. I'll come to that. By using this unnest function, we can do that. We don't have append here, but by using this unnest, we can do. Okay.
But still in arrays, like once you have arrays, the record by record update is done. So assigning one internal table, other internal table, we can use select, right? Select table one to table two.
Select. Okay, you are pulling the data
Like how you.
into. Acha. Okay. So here, yeah. What you can do is instead of if you are not using this limit statement, yes, entire data would be copied. But what he's saying is the structure of the source and target internals are different. It's not same.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I'll come to that array examples. Okay. So just wait for a few minutes. Yeah. Now let me quickly go to what arrays. Yeah. Now, what is an array means? If you take our C language environment, array is a collection of what similar elements. Here also, array is a collection of what similar data types. Okay, we cannot compare this array as an internal table. Why? Because internal table concept is different, array is different. Internal table is capable of holding multiple columns, multiple rows. Internal table is capable of storing multiple columns, multiple rows, whereas arrays, it can store multiple values. I mean to say multiple rows, but only single column. Okay, so let me show you that first. One second. Let me just copy this. The power fluctuation. So if it gets disconnected, I'll send a new ID. Yeah. So let me create one procedure. In that procedure only, let me go for arrays. So I'll say create a procedure. Let me give the array name as something array demo 1. Okay, done. Procedure name is what? Array demo 1. Then I'll say default schema. Default schema is what? Gens of SQL. So that every time I need a prefix with the schema name as begin. Now I want to declare an array. So I'll say declare. Yeah. Okay. So if I leave it like this, if I declare like this, this variable is capable of only holding only what? It is capable of holding only single value. Okay, single value of type what? Integer. But I want to hold what? All the employee IDs. I want to hold all the employee IDs of this particular table. I don't know whether it is one entry or what, 100 entries. So I'll say int. I'll use what? Array. So what is the keyword I'm using here? Array. Then I'll say, okay, then I'll say itab is equal to select select star from what is the database table earlier. E underscore department is my database table, so I'll say select star from what? E underscore department. Done. So I'll get the entire data into what? Internal table. But I told just now that array can hold multiple values but only one column. Array can hold multiple values but only one column of similar data type. What is the data type I declared here? Integer, because employee ID in the table also is what type? Integer. So I'll say v underscore employee ID, v underscore employee ID colon is equal to there is a function array underscore aggregation. Array underscore aggregation. Okay. Where is the data available in the internal table? So I'll say itab, sorry, itab dot. Okay. So this itab is having how many columns now? I said star wantedly here. It has got some employee ID, employee name, department number, salary and commission, 5 columns. But array is capable of holding single column. So I'll say itab dot. Let me try to specify that column name in the uppercase empid. Done. So what is the meaning of this? Whatever the data is there for empid in the internal table itab, it is dot here. That will be assigned to my array what? V underscore empid. Let me try to display that. How do I display? I can directly say select what? Select V underscore empid. Okay, from, I'll say dummy. Let me check what happens, and I'll say what? End. Okay, let's see whether the procedure is created or not. F8, no. Good. What is the error I got here? See, feature not supported. Feature not supported. What is that? It is saying array variable without index is not supported in what? SQL statement. Okay. Array variable without index is not supported in the SQL statement. Done. So here the index of the array starts from 1. The index of the array starts from what? 1. So I'll say select v underscore empid. I'll use 5 from dummy. So I'm trying to get the fifth row. What is the fifth row empid here? 5 only. Okay, 5 only. Or else let me try to put department numbers. One second, just to avoid confusion. I'll say v underscore department number from array, int array, select star. So here also I'll put what? Department number, and here I don't want empid. Let me get department number. Okay, then I'll say v underscore what? Department number of 5 from dummy. Okay, so what is the fifth department number in my table? 20. So I am expecting what? 20. Let's see. I'll say F8. Done. Array, the procedure got what? Created. Now I'll say call. What is the procedure name? Array demo 1. Array demo 1. Let me try to execute this. What I got here? 20. Done. Okay, so what you have to understand is the array index starts from 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I got the fifth value. What is that here? 20. Understood. So array is like an internal table only, but internal table is capable of holding multiple columns with multiple rows. But whereas array can hold only what? Single value. Array can hold only single value. Okay. Now let me say, okay, this is fine. Let me go for another example. Hope it's clear to everyone. Okay. Yeah. Now let me quickly create one local type, one global type. Create type gens of SQL dot. I'll give the type name as something t underscore products, t underscore products as table, as table. Let me give some column names. Product ID. Let me give it as something varchar of 100. Then I'll give another column like category. Category. I'll give it as varchar of 100. Varchar of 100. Then I'll take price. Price, let me take it as a decimal of something 15 comma 2. Done. Okay, 1 2 3. Yeah, 3 data types are sufficient. And then okay, right, I'm storing that. That's it. Okay, so I'm just trying to create a type here. Let me execute this. Type gets created. What is the type name? T underscore products. Now what I'll do is, based on this type, I want to create a procedure. So what is the logic in my procedure is, in my procedure, I want to declare three different arrays. Try to understand. I want to declare three different arrays. First array should store all the product IDs. Second array should store all the categories, and third array should store the corresponding price. Okay. Then what I want is, I want to return all these array data. I want to return all this array data as a what? Return parameter, return internal table. As a return internal table. Means what I am trying to show is, in the procedure is having three different arrays. One array is holding the set of values related to product ID, another array for categories, another array for price. Then I want to concatenate all these array values, three different array values, and return it as a internal table. Okay, that's the reason I created what? One type, so that I can create a procedure and declare one output parameter based on that particular type declaration. So I'll just create one procedure. Create procedure. I'll give the procedure name as what? Something products array. Something products array. Done. Let me take one output parameter out. Out. What shall I take? Yeah. Out. Itab. I'll take out itab. Okay. What is this? It has to refer to what? Gens of SQL dot. What is my type name? T underscore products. T underscore products. Fine. Done. Okay, other things not required. As done. Then I'll say begin. Yeah, fine. Now I'll declare three different arrays. Okay, declare one array. Let me give it as product ID. Okay, product ID. Product ID of what type? Varchar of what? Earlier I declared one array of type what? Integer. So here I'll say product ID varchar of what? 20. Varchar of 20. I'll say array. Okay, done. Then like this, how many arrays are required? Three arrays. Done. Okay, let me give the array name. Second array name as what? Category. Okay, category. Let me declare this also as varchar of 20. Done, no problem. Then I'll take declare what is the other one? Price. I'll declare another array price. Let me give the same data type here. Price. Declare price of what decimal of 15 comma 2 array. Done. So I declared what three different arrays. Now after declaring these three different arrays, okay, let me assign the data. Okay, so I'll say, as I told you, the array index starts from what? 1. So product id of 1, okay, equal to, I'll just say something, yeah, let me just say product 1. Okay, product 1. Done. So manually I'm assigning the data. Earlier I'm pulling it from the table, database table. So as the product ID of 2, product ID of 3, let me give it as 2, 3, done. So I'm storing three different values in the first array. Similarly in the second array, I'll say category of 1 equal to, I'll give it as something category A. This, let me give it as C, category of B, category of C, 2, 3. Array index starts from what? 1. Then what is the other third array? I declared price. So I'll say price of 1. Okay, price of 1, okay, equal to, let me give some values. Price of 2, price of 3, some values. Okay, done. So I'm having these values. Done. So what I did here in the procedure, I declared three different arrays of different data types. Two are of varchar, another is of type what? Decimal. Then I'm assigning the data manually. What is the change? Earlier I'm pulling it from the table. Now I'm assigning the data manually. Then I want to return all these array values to my output parameter. My output parameter is referring to what? It is referring to one table type. It is referring to one table type which is capable of holding what? Three columns: product ID, category, and what? Price. So here I'll say, what is my output parameter? I declare itab. Yeah, I declare it as itab. So I'll say itab equal to, yeah, itab is equal to, earlier what is the function I used here? Array underscore aggregation. Array underscore aggregation. So equal to, let me use a function called as unnest. Unnest. Okay, so what I can say is it is reverse of this one. It is reverse of this one. Okay, unnest of, unnest of, yeah, what are my array names? One is product IDs, product ID. Another one is what? Category. I'll do one thing just to avoid confusion. I'll give it as PID. Let me give it as something category, and let me give it as something uh, PR price. Okay, done. Okay, so here also let me give product ID just to avoid confusion. Product ID, and this I'll give it as category. Done. And this, let me give it as what? Product price. Done. And here I'll say PID, product ID. Done. And then category, what is this? C category. I have to refer to the value, so category. Done. And then what is the other one? Product price. Product price. That's it. Okay. Okay. Do you want to return same thing or you want to give a different names? I'll say as let me give it as what? Product ID. Done. Then I'll say category. Then I'll say this is what? Product price. Product price. End for procedure is what? End. So right? Let me check the syntax. Let me execute this first. F8. Did I created the type earlier? What is the type name? T underscore products. Is it got created? Yes, it got created. So let me try to create the procedure. I'll say F8. Any errors? Yes. Oh, good. Right. What is the error I got? Return type mismatch. Procedure products array attribute name price different from attribute name product price. Oh, good. Okay, good that I have changed it. So it is saying that the attribute name. I think we got a similar error earlier also. When you're returning any table type, the return field names and the fields in the table type must be what same. So it is giving an error. So again, let me go back to the original names. What is that? Product ID, category, and what price? Okay, product ID. Let me give it as category. This is what price. The names must be same itself. Product ID, and this is category. Done, and this is only price. Okay, here also product ID, category, and product price. Done. Let me re-execute the. Let me recreate the procedure. I'll say F8. Still, I got error. Where is error? Attribute name price different from product price. Oh, here. So it should be same here. Product price. Done. Let me execute now. F8. Done. So the procedure is successfully what? Created. Procedure is successfully created. Let me quickly call it now. I'll say call what is the procedure name? Products array. So I'll say products array. Okay, it has got one output parameter now. So let me just give it F8. Yes, so it is returning it as a table. Good. So it understood it is returning it as a table. So that is the purpose of what? Unnest function. Reverse of what? Array underscore what? Aggregation. Array underscore aggregation. Here we are extracting a column value from the internal table and giving it to what? Array. Now here what we are doing, we are concatenating all the arrays of different types into an internal table. So what we can do with this, once I get this internal table, I can pass it as a parameter to what? Procedure and a function. I can loop it and then I can do the further processing. Hope it's clear the purpose of unnest function. It is going to concatenate all the what arrays into what single output table. That's what it is doing. Reverse of what? Array underscore what? Aggregation. So again this will be what referring to our table type, and make sure that the field names are what? Same.
Hi, Sridhar. When you have the number of entries in each array, just assume that first array you have 10, second one you have 20, third one you have 30, and when you use unnest, you're going to have number of rows in the internal table. Maybe the field's going to be blank, but sometimes you have it's going to be complicated, right? Not meaningful sometimes.
No. At that time, okay, what you are saying is all the arrays, whatever concatenating, may not have same number of rows you are saying, right? Okay.
Yes, Sridhar.
So if that is the case, okay, then the internal table, wherever you are having the column value column deficiency, that will be inserted as what? Blank. So then what you will do, that's what I'm saying. This internal table, you have to pass it as a parameter to what? A procedure function, whatever it is, and inside that procedure function, we will what we'll do, we'll update our internal table wherever that blank values are there. Then with that updation, then you can update it back to a database table or whatever it is. One second. Here only, let me say like this. One second. Control C. Products array 1, I'll say now. Products array 1. Now, wantedly, what I'll do is product ID of 4, I'll say. This also product 4. Okay. So, I'm trying to create a new procedure. F8 procedure is created. Let me try to call it product array of what? 1. Let me execute this. Yeah, so as uh, okay, we are having what blank values. So what you have to do now, we have to pass this output parameter again to as a parameter to what? A procedure, not function basically, because if I pass it to the function is always read only. Okay, so I can pass it to function, but I can only what read there. I cannot do any kind of manipulation. So I need to pass this what output parameter as a parameter to another procedure. There again we need to do the required changes. Logic would be little complex, but that is the way we develop our code.
Okay, fine. Thanks.
Yeah, is it clear to everyone? How to declare array, how to assign the data, and we understood two functions here. Array, basically we have only these two: array underscore aggregation and array what unnest. Now, sometimes what happens is we are getting the data from a database table and what putting into an array, you assume putting into array. Okay, I want to count the number of entries. So again we have a function called as cardinality that I'll discuss tomorrow's session. Am I clear? So what you have to do further now is this is a data now. Okay, this is a data which is having some data of what concatenated array data. This internal table I have to pass it as a parameter to what another procedure, that is write only procedure, write procedure. Okay, inside that procedure I have to manipulate this internal table data. Okay, and that internal table data, okay, I have to update it to what some other table or whatever it is. So that part I'll discuss tomorrow. Is it clear to everyone? The continuation would be this internal table here only we are going to call it, we are going to pass it to what another procedure, not function. I can pass it to function, but functions are always what read only. I cannot use DML statement. That's the reason I'll pass it to another procedure. Inside that procedure, I'll update my internal table. Just now in the previous example, I am doing the changes by taking it to variables. Instead of variables, I have to update into our internal table. That updated internal table, we have to reflect it back to what, or I have to insert it back to what some other table. So that part I'll discuss tomorrow. Is it clear to everyone? Okay, so tomorrow what is the focus is how to call a procedure from another procedure, how to call a function from a procedure, or reverse, how to call a procedure from a function. So those things will focus, and we'll see how to update this internal table instead of updating the local variables. Okay, so that part I'll discuss in the tomorrow session. Any questions for today? Chalo then. So I'm winding off. We'll continue tomorrow. Chalo.